So my name's Clara,
I'm Keely.
and we form, of course, Lyrici Arts, and we are based in Medway, Kent. Our ethos is to address diversity and inclusion via arts programming.
So as well as us telling you a little bit more about what the toolkit is further on in this section, we also thought we'd tell you a little bit more about some of our past partners and projects so that you can know what kind of diversity and inclusion we have worked on so far. One of our projects was called The Art of Conversation, which was with Age UK.
And that was to address the issue of isolation and loneliness among the elderly community. So we teamed up with a local college, and we also brought in some speakers, and we gave them a 1 hour session each month so they could talk about what they've learned and just to generally have a conversation and just to engage with each other. We also took that project into a specialist suite for dementia patients who absolutely loved the project. It was such a wonderful turnaround and turnout for us, and we're really proud and pleased with that project.
I think for me as well, the highlight about that project was there was a gentleman with dementia, and we had some songs on from the 1940s. And normally he doesn't talk or interact, and he got up in the middle of that performance, the show was on, and he started dancing and talking about it. It was really lovely, wasn't it, Clara?
Yeah, it was beautiful. You could just, everyone was just in awe because he just got up and just started dancing, and you could just see the connection between music and people, and it's just powerful stuff to watch.
I think that's why we address those diversity elements in our work, so we can see more of a positive impact through the people we work with. Other projects that we have done include working with the Royal Opera House Bridge, and we took some black storytelling into schools in Thurrock, which was lovely, working with smaller children. In their faces, light up.
So lovely to take part in that as well, and we just thought it's important that the arts are available for all people from all different backgrounds at all ages. Yeah, that was a beautiful project too. We're also part of a project called CTN, which stands for Collaborative Touring Network, and that was formed from Battersea, and they helped us to tour big, large scale projects into areas across the UK, and we were lucky enough to be part of that project.
Lovely, yeah. So we had 3 shows per festival, 2 festivals per year, so it's quite a lot of work. And we also worked with our local community to include a wraparound activities. And the shows were really high quality, made you think a lot about mental health, how you can support your community. So that was lovely. And our last project that we're currently working on at the moment is called Moving Roots, and that is a co-created piece of work working with 5 area partners. The lead partner is Battersea Arts Centre, and we bring co-created pieces of work into Medway, and then work with our community to help them shape the piece and the direction of the show. So how does all this link to the things that we've done in libraries, we hear you ask? Well, we've done 2 projects so far, haven't we, Clara? In libraries, which have included diversity and inclusion. And the first one that we did was in 2017 for a year with Medway Libraries, and that was called Legacy. And that was a programme of 10 individual events, which had more events within those, which encompassed live music, storytelling. Tell me if I've missed anything here.
Caribbean food, we were able to give out Baby Bounce of Rhyme, which had a Caribbean theme. African storytelling, some dancing in a library space, lots and lots of things.
It was amazing, actually. And I think for us, it was those encounters that we had with the public that were there that didn't expect live activity, and they were still interacting, and it made their day. That was beautiful.
That was really lovely, and it was really great to celebrate the African and Caribbean culture with the wider community. So that was really positive.
The second love project that we've recently completed last year was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland with Kent Libraries.
Yes, so that was addressing diversity and inclusion through the love of a popular book, which is obviously Alice. We chose Alice's Adventures in Wonderland because it's the type of book that has never been out of print and has been published in many different languages, and has universal themes across all different cultures.
Lovely. And Why for you do you feel that libraries is quite a key place to work?
So from an early age, we were very much encouraged by our parents to use the libraries, and we often spent our Saturday mornings down there raiding the books to see what adventures we could discover to take us on these faraway lands. And then as we got older, we still had our love for books and libraries, and I spent 10 years working as a library assistant. So I understand how the day-to-day running of a library works. I also understand how hard-working the staff have to be in order to keep things running for the public. So yes.
I think that's a key partnership, because I've got a creative producing masters and Clara's got expertise in the library and her producing expertise, and we can come together to see how libraries can be programmed with arts activity in an effective way that supports staff, but also benefits communities.
And we strongly believe that libraries should be for everybody, and they are important places in our communities, and we should try really hard not to lose them.
So what's in our toolkit, we hear you ask? So throughout the Alice's Adventures in Wonderland project, which was a 4-month project in Kent Libraries, we looked at diversity inclusion, and we made sure that things were included that sometimes are left out of projects, sometimes unintentionally. So for example, we had BSL interpreters, we had workshops which were accessible for the visually impaired, accessible for people with SEND, special educational needs and disabilities, and we also addressed relaxed performances within our work as well.
Which is something we always do. We believe in the power of relaxed performances and how everyone, again, should have access to the arts.
Brilliant. Yeah, so yeah, we had a lovely time doing it, and in the end, those community workshops form the basis of an interactive Mad Hatter's tea party scene, which you can see in the toolkit. But for now, we'll talk you through some of the chapter headings so that you can understand what's in there a little bit more.
As we mentioned earlier, the toolkit came together as a result of the project. We really wanted to highlight and to have an easy guide for people to understand how to do an arts programming in a library setting.
Okay, so there's some quotes in there from the book, just to help you be inspired. And once you get past the contents page, you're taken into the project introduction, where we tell you a little bit more about what is diversity and inclusion and access and why it's needed. There's quite a few photographs in here, isn't there?
Yes,
from our
there is.
photographer.
Yes.
So you can see some of the things that we did in the project as well. Chapter 2 is a little bit about the Mad Hatter's Tea Party by Lewis Carroll.
Yes.
So you understand the story.
And that forms the basis of the work that we did in North Kent Libraries.
And then we move on to specialist industry advice from diverse creative practitioners, which look a bit more closely at some of the themes that we've spoken to you about, like visually impaired community,
The deaf community.
Wendy Dawes led that section with the visually impaired. So there's a little bit about her there. The deaf community, as Clara said.
There's Christopher Saker, who is a wonderful BSL interpreter and who is deaf.
Working with special educational needs and disabilities, and what to look out for. Throughout the toolkit, there are top tips in there that you can do. I think there's 5 top tips, isn't there, Clara?
Yes, there is indeed.
We tell you a little bit about working with children, which is taken from Natasha Steer and Let's All Dance. They give us their top tips, which are wonderful.
Yes.
And then there's also a section there by Jasmine, who was our designer for the tactile animals, which were at the interactive tea party. And she tells you what to look out for in terms of designing with diversity in mind.
Yes, yeah. Excellent, excellent.
Then we move on to leading recommendations from industry organisations like Battersea Arts Centre, Cambridge Council and Farnham Moultons. Next chapter is creative considerations when producing an event, telling you to look a little bit more closely at the workshops you hold, what engagement activities you can use to pull in an audience, like food, that always helps.
Very much so.
Displays, the crafts that you can do with them together.
Just making the whole event a wraparound occasion, and also documenting your work, photography, and making sure you have producing checklists before the event, during the event and after the event, so you make sure that everything is covered and everything can run smoothly without too much hassle.
So we hope that this toolkit helps staff practically. For us, we feel like it's an easy access guide for you to be able to pick up, just look at the top 5 tips if you need to, delve into certain chapters that you might need a bit more help with, or feel free to contact us. We're always more than happy to advise where we can.
Yes, and we just wanted, as you said, Peely said, just to make it really easier for people to understand how to hold an arts event in a library setting, because sometimes it can be quite daunting, especially from my background when I was a library assistant, just like how much work do we have to do in order to pull this off and make this happen. But we hope we've simplified it and made it as easy as possible so you can enjoy the process too.
Also, don't forget that it doesn't have to be the Alice story. We've made this so it can be any story.
Yes.
You could do it to Peter Pan, other stories are available. Anything you want, and just use the themes and the advice here to tailor your event to suit it.
Yes, very much so. So this toolkit is about longevity in your library settings, and hopefully it will help you to produce many, many more exciting projects. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the toolkit that we've produced. Please let us know what you think. We hope you like it. We do hope it's helpful and useful for you all. And yes, if you want us for any consultation work at all, in order to pull off any library projects, and hopefully it's safer for all of us to do so, then please feel free to contact us.
In the meantime, please do look at our website, which is www.lyriciarts.com, or contact us via email at info@lyriciarts.com. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for listening, and we do hope you enjoyed the toolkit.